Everybody, and welcome to The Hunter Call of the Wild. I just had a little OBS crash, which is fun. Completely no reason for that, so that's always good. We are jumping into... There we go, Medved-Taiga. It's going to be just a little junky on your screens for just a sec while I have a look at our inventory. Have a look at our mission log, see if we need any special inventory things. No, we don't. So we can get to the fixing kit bit pretty quickly, because our kit should already be mostly fixed. Apologies for the random crash there. That was unexpected. Don't know what happened there. We will play through it and assume that it's not going to crash again. What am I looking at? So we've got our standard setup. We've got one of every class except 9. Can I track that call? No, I can't. That would be too easy. Do I have enough ammo for the guns? We're getting through those, that's fine. Got over 50 for everything else except the arrows. Let's grab some arrows. Oh, I've got some hiccups apparently. There we go. OBS reckons we're online. Sorry, just checking because my little chat monitor app does not think we're online. Let me see if I can just get that started again. There we go, wonderful. Anyway. Alright, so got that up so I can see all of your beautiful faces as and when you appear. That's wonderful. Yes, wind currently blowing southwest, which is a nice change. But our basic plan is, because the wind always seems to be blowing east, and everything always seems to be to the east of where our little houses are, my plan is just to like get to the far west side of the map, and then from there we can fill out westwards towards any place that we ever need to go, because we'll be the most easterly place, so we can always theoretically approach something from the west. From the east, even. That's the idea. Our first stop is going to be... Well, it's going to be figuring out how we get up to here. Because, I went to here, and this is just sort of a big... Do you mind? Must do. This is just sort of a big valley that, like... I mean, presumably, the train track goes into it. Does it come out the other side again? Like, I'm not really sure. This looks like it might be a tunnel entrance. So I'm not entirely sure how to get from here to up here. We might be skipping that one and going all the way out to, like, here. Which is quite a long trip. If I'm honest with you. Not ideal. But we'll see how it goes. Either way, our first step is to get up to the bridge. Which is over here. We need to go on crouch sprint mode. Get our goggles at the right zoom. And we have a Boom Boom in chat. Welcome. Hi there. I hope you weren't around for the random OBS crash right at the start. That was really embarrassing. I don't even know what happened. Yeah, how's your day been, Boom Boom? Is that a house? No, that's just a rock. I should also make sure we're all loaded up. All the right things. Who says it crashed exactly as you click the stream? Oh no, disaster. Kitty cat. Kitty cat's behind us and downwind of us. I'll blow for it anyway. Watch it. Watch out, guys. Oh god, I hate that noise. That is the worst noise. Possibly in all of video gaming. Oh, but I'm ready and glad for some chill evening times again. I know this is the same late night game as I was playing last week, but sometimes it just works. had thoughts. Oh, I wanted to check I've got the right arrows on. That was my thoughts. Yes, we do. Fantastic. Moon says, at least my drunk self probably can't say anything too terrible in the Hunter stream. Ah, I see you've been having an exciting and eventful evening. Well, currently we're not looking like we're going to have a very exciting or eventful hunting time. Although we are, I suppose, like, particularly when we get here, we're going to be walking through areas of existing hunting pressure. So we got to be careful that we don't shoot too many things as and when we get there. Who's that? That's a musk deer. Musk deer are a shame because I can't call them. So I have no real way of getting them close to me. Is this where we found the musk deer before? Oh well, they don't seem to be there now. It's obviously further off. They'll be gone by the time I get there. It says, yes, so much excitement. Definitely not 6 hours of listening to the Me channel music. That raises a lot more questions than it answers, Boom Boom. I've had weird headspace days. I know what it's like. I don't think I've ever managed 6 hours of specifically the Me channel, but oh, well, I'm very flattered. Feel free to resume your Me channel music in the background if you want. I won't be offended. I might be faintly amused. Now, last time we came across this bridge and we shot some moose down here. Boone says, I did 3 months straight of Hey Mickey once. I've had songs, like, go round and round in my head for a while. I don't think I've ever managed anything for 3 months. That musk deer sounded real close. There you are. You're a class 2, which means I need the ranger? He's on number 5. Well, there's a bear over there as well. Pop! No, I think that one of the worst ones for me was Piano Man. That went round and round in my head for quite some time. It's a good song. It's no less of a good song having listened to it on repeat for like a week. But I think everyone else thought it was less of a good song after I was singing it on repeat for about a week. Oh no, there's puppies down there. We gotta be wary of the puppies. Last time, the incidents with the puppies scarred me both mentally and in-game physically. Ah, pigs are here as well. Uh-oh. Puppy. I think I hit it. Or maybe I didn't hit it. Oh, not again. Luna says the puppy incident was incredibly hardcore though. Well, possibly get ready for puppy incident but take 2, I guess. Okay, apparently I didn't hit the puppy. Which surprises me. I thought that was a straight shot. No, there's blood. I did hit him. And he has gone down. The trouble now is, I have to hunt the puppy. And all the puppy's friends want to hunt me. That wasn't a terribly good shot. Possibly because I was aiming blind in the dark, like a numpty. I think I can definitely hear them, right? That's what that noise is! Okay, well, fleeing is good. Fleeing rather than murdering is definitely good. I can't tell if they're trying to circle me or if they're running away from me. But either way, this is very concerning. Luna says, do you get a Twitch recap for yourself? I've never got the Twitch recap for myself. But that doesn't mean that no one ever does. What do we think? Do we think this way? Do we think he kept on in this direction? There's a lot of tracks here, which is a little bit unfortunate. Uh-oh. Pull that wrong gun! Whoop, 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 whoop. God, there's a lot of them here, though. No, okay, that's an older track from before it got shot. No, okay. Where the hell did you go? Well, not down there. Boom says, we sent 2,880 messages in your chat last month. There were 76 Dis4 Raws. Wow, I'm astonished there's that many messages, and at the same time I'm astonished there were that few Dis4 Raws. It feels like there should have been so many. Uh-oh. Oh, hello. That was the wrong arrow type. Which is a shame. I think I also missed. Yeah, I did also miss. Alright. Are these the tracks I'm looking for? Oh. Hate when animals are awkward to track at night. There we go. Oh, thank goodness for that. Alright. And all the wolves have gone down the other way. So, hopefully, they shouldn't give us too much more trouble. Can't believe I messed up that point-blank shot on the KPK. I also can't believe I still haven't bothered to go away and learn how to pronounce KPK. Just go through the noisiest bush in all of existence. That's cool though. I'm glad that everyone else appears to be enjoying the raw remote. I enjoy the raw emote greatly. So, it helps that everyone else is. I've actually put another emote in for approval, which is an egg emote. I don't know if it's likely to replace one anytime in the near future. I'm not super fond of the little heart emote. I don't think it comes off quite the way I wanted it to, so that might get moved to being like a follow emote when I get follow emotes. We'll see. Because yeah, for whatever reason, Twitch lets you have like 45 emote slots, even when you can only have something like I think 10 emotes. Right now, I have access to. I have 5. Hang on, I've got 5 tier 1 subs, 1 each for tier 2, tier 3, and then 1 each for 1 key bits. Oh, that was in the spine. Ah, dear. 1 key bits, 2 key bits, and 3 key bits, I think. It says, yeah, the fills are a bit underwhelming in chat. Yeah. I don't know how you're supposed to draw what I was going for. Being like a winged heart, but with dinosaur wings, not bird wings. Unsurprisingly, perhaps, not many other people have tried to draw that. It's a deer feed zone. Alright, across the bridge. And I'm kind of happy to run this bit, because we'll be across the bridge where we won't be able to shoot much anyway. And then after that, we'll be close to the high pressure zone and then to the tunnel. So we might not see any animals for a bit. I don't actually know if it's going to let me walk through the tunnel. That's my dream. Boone says it is quite specific. And wins an award for Understatement of the Century. Just check if anyone's out there. I saw the meese before. No, okay. Let's go for a little jog. If you happen to be in the Siberian wilderness, don't try this at home. Never walk on railway tracks. Even if you think the railway line is deprecated, you have no way of knowing. That's a dizzy top tip. Oh, hello. Who's that? That's a kitty cat doing a feed. Oh, okay. Right. Now that... something we can do something with, but he is... I don't know. He is in a spot of lots of pressure. Kitty cat's class 3. What do these arrows do? They do 2 to 7. Well, I can try and sneak up on him and hit him with a bow. It won't work. But as they say, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Oh, there's another KPK as well. Oh, the KPK feed zone. Also in the middle of a bunch of hunting pressure. In fact, even more in the middle of a bunch of hunting pressure, but between the two, that means I definitely don't. And a Pigu! Hello, Pigu. You're not eating there, but yeah, I definitely don't want to smudge too much hunting pressure here then if there's two quite important feed zones like that Both over there. Keep eyes on the kitty cat. If we fluff the kitty cat shot, which we will, then we can maybe move down the hill and look for the birdies. They're not too far away. I think the other question is, how far away do I think I can hit the kitty cat from? I think anything over 60 meters is a wasted attempt. I'm not sure if I can hit at 60 meters, but I think that's the furthest that I'd consider it from. Hey, birds. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I was about to fall off then. I was fine, I was just going over a rail. Falling off would be a bad start to my great march. I suppose the other thing with how far away am I willing to take the shot from is how far away can I actually see it from. Which might not be a trivial matter. It says this is why we don't walk on the tracks. To be fair, that's not why we don't walk on the tracks. The fact that this bridge has no safety railing of any kind is an entirely separate problem to the fact that a train could come along at any moment and run me over. One of the maps, I think a train actually does come and run you over. Right. 80-ish meters out. We've also found a musk deer sleeping zone. My god, absolutely everyone and their mother lives here. Oh, there's some moose possibly down in the valley as well. I think they might have smelt me. Now, we're approaching 60 meters away from where I put the pin in for the cat. Don't currently have eyes on the cat. We'll slow down our walk. What time is the cat here too? Until midnight. So he won't have left yet unless he's heard me. Hello? That noise, however, that is going to be the cat. Oh, blast. Or maybe it was that bird. Now, was it the cat? Oh, blast, I accidentally put pings down. Like an idiot. I forgot there was a button to do that now. My big old fat thumbs. Right, were they scared of the cat or were they scared of me? No, the cat's still here. Nope, okay. The cat is not going to be an easy shot. I'll tell you that much for nothing. I hit something. I hit the cat! Amazing. Now, I think I had just heard another bird down that way. So let's have a look out. See if that bird is still around. Ah, well. Boom says don't diss fat thumbs. Fat thumbs do good work. I'll diss my thumbs all I like, thank you. I don't know why I was dissing my thumbs though, considering it's actually my index finger that was doing the pressing. I guess not all of us were born bright. Bright here meaning able to distinguish between your thumb and your forefinger, which admittedly is not the harshest criteria ever for intelligence. Hey kitty! Womp. Oh, you look very vicious and feral, and your eyes are completely white, which is slightly terrifying. Oh, and I accidentally got you from the back, which I didn't mean to, but we got a decent enough lung shot, which I'm happy with. Oh, I got achievement, Hunting the Hunter. Harvest the Eurasian links to this hunting or eating. That's cool, didn't know that was a thing. Boom says fingers, thumbs, same difference. I mean, yeah, basically. Like, evolutionarily, the thumb is just a slightly fancy finger. I can't see the bird. And I'm unwilling to venture down the hillside, I think, to find the bird. So I'll have a quick look-see to see if that deer is still around. And under the assumption that it's not, we will leave the bird for another day. Part of the problem is I can't quite remember exactly where the deer was. But it doesn't seem to be there anymore. It just says fanciest thing about you. The fanciest thing about you is that you have one opposable digit on your forearm. Or forepaw, perhaps. Oh, hello. There. Right. Alright, this is going to be a tricky hunt as well, considering that he's going out of sight behind rocks. Rocks, you remember, are my nemesis in this game. They're of a similar level to hills in terms of how much I despise them in Call of the Wild. We're going to navigate slowly because there's plenty of noisy brush here. We're going to hope to actually turn my enemy the rock to my advantage and get up on top of it. But I don't know if that's going to be possible or not. I'm thinking it's not. One says, well, could have sworn I had more than one. One of these sussy backers is an imposter thumb. That is a serious problem. Dear? Dear, where did you go? Hello? Dear? I've lost the deer. I think I might have just caught a glimpse of its head as it got up and ran away, possibly over there. Hello? Nope, there we are. Deer. Just move it up so I have a clear shot. Boom. Quite happy with that. Quite happy with that indeed. I think the way to tell Boom Boom if one of your thumbs is a sussy backer imposter thumb is if you bite one of them at an Italian citizen. If they take offense, then it's a thumb. If they don't, then it's a finger. Oh, I actually didn't get to the lungs. I only got as far as the liver, but liver is still a vital. I'm not gonna lie. If you told me, the shot perforated someone's liver and also their stomach, and you asked me which organ killed him. I would have said 10 times out of 10, oh, it's going to be the damage to the stomach that killed him. But the stomach is not considered a vital organ, whereas the liver is in this. I find that very confusing. And it says, I don't have any Italians to hand right now. You should always make sure you have a secret stash of Italians somewhere. For just such a purpose as this. No, I'm kidding. That was an exceptionally weird thing to say, even for me. It says, isn't the liver full of blood vessels, though? I mean, probably, I suppose? I guess just because I... Like, the two things that the liver is most known for in Dizzy World is, one, turning you yellow when it fails, and two, being, like, the most regeneratable organ that you have in your body. It says when the stomach is basically just a black sack full of food. It is a black sack full of food, but it's also a black sack full of, like, horrendously dangerous acids, which I assume is very, very bad for your body if it ruptures. Whereas I perhaps naively, would, like, because you can live without huge chunks of your liver, which is how people are able to donate bits of their liver and still be alive. So I sort of had just assumed that, well, bullet trauma to a liver isn't then going to be as serious as bullet trauma to something that isn't regeneratable and replaceable. And it says you can also live without your stomach, though. I'm not going to claim to be a medical expert. I thought you could only live without your stomach if something replaced your stomach. But like I say, I'm not a doctor, not a medical expert. I do not advise anyone having a stomachectomy if you're thinking about it. It says, gotta eat like once an hour, and digestion can go down in the intestines. True, but I mean, if the intestines were all you needed for digestion, then we wouldn't have a stomach. I suppose perhaps you just gotta, like, seriously manage your diet, maybe? Only eat things that don't require being broken down by lots of acid, and it'll be majorly bad for your disease resistance. That isn't good. That is a wolf who is downwind of me and has smelt me. That is not what you want a wolf to have done. And it says, yeah, but that's where the once an hour comes in. Uh-huh. Alright. So, we've been on the road for 38 minutes. We've made it 800 meters to the tunnel, which we don't know if we're going to be able to go through. Let's hope, eh? Zapadny Ledyanoi Tunnel. Tunnel apostrophe, apparently. Okay. If we can't go up there, where do I think the best way to go up this hill is? Around here and up there, I think. Boom says, have you not seen the dude who is missing most of his digestive system? Unsurprisingly, Boom Boom, no, I have not. Why would I have seen the dude who is missing most of his digestive system? I have some interesting and unusual friends, but not that kind of interesting and unusual. That definitely looks like the sort of tunnel that you can't go through, doesn't it? That looks like a fence that I won't be able to get through, and behind the fence, a brick wall that I definitely won't be able to get through. Apart from being straight out of a Thomas the Tank Engine story, this is not good news. Blast! I knew it was too much to hope for. Alright. I guess we're heading down this way then. Okey-doke. Inspect. Ladenoy Tunnel. Ladenoy Tunnel is one of the oldest, longest tunnels on the old railway. You would call it frozen passage. You would certainly fear dying in its icy grip. Good. Good. Boomer says he has to sort of jiggle his food down his gullet with his hands because he has no real throat. What the hell have you been watching, Boom Boom? I thought I was watching weird stuff on House, binging that for the last how many days it's been. 6, 7 days probably. Alright, we're gonna wander right up to the tunnel just to make absolutely sure that there is nothing shootable there. Hello, and we're gonna grab a nice moose antler along the way. And we're going to think about how we get up there, which is where we need to be. Oh, it would have been way too easy if you could just let them go through, wouldn't it? Swines. Alright. Oh dear. Okay, around we go. Well, we are definitely not making it all the way to the far east side today then. The question is, will we be able to make it up to here today, and then possibly from there on to a house which I'm going to hope is up there, because that'll be nice and easy. Alrighty then. While you're here, Boom Boom, I'm going to ask you, what's the stream quality like? Because by pure chance, I happen to have my task manager open and visible on my second monitor, which I don't normally do, and so I can see how much like CPU and GPU I'm using at any given time. And the answer is hitting 100 fairly often. Like, not all the time, but, you know, let's say 1 second out of every 20 or so, it's spiking up to 100% GPU usage and /or CPU usage. Boomer says I will switch to auto for you. Ah, okay. Yes, I forgot, of course, you watch in lower quality. Because you typically watch by phone. Which, honestly, as a traditionalist, I still find it weird that people watch by phone. I fired up Twitch, actually, not on the app, but on the mobile browser version the other day, and there was no way to type in chat, which I found unhelpful, to say the least. And it says, okay, it has autoed you to 720p 60. Fair enough. Don't actually know. I don't know enough to interpret what that means into, is the stream any good? It's possible that you just may not be able to give me that information, and that's fine. Oh my god, is it getting daytime? No. It's just weirdly bright out for 10:30 in the Siberian winter. It says ELD HD, but still HD and 60 FPS. Fair enough. Come on, get up this hill. Or don't get up this hill, though, you swine thing. Grumble, grumble. I hate this hill. This hill is going to consume the next, like, hour or two of my life, I know. And it's just like, oh, God. If I didn't hate hills before in this game, I certainly will after this. Maybe I should have just got the quad bike out. Moon says, I can't find the dude I was talking about. There's loads of white people on Whitey who are also missing their stomach and throat. That's so weird. That's so weird. It says, my dude is definitely a black guy. I suppose that's why you specified there's loads of white people doing it. I know white people have some strange hobbies, but I don't think having your throat and stomach removed is one of them. Okay. How are we gonna do this? I want to get up there. If I can. Do I think this bit of hill is tackleable? I'm not loving it. I'm worried I might have to go all the way down to here, which will be a complete disaster. Whereas this bit here, like this bit, looks like it might be climbable. The question is, how high can I go on it? And at what point am I going to have to sort of semi-give up? Uh-oh, puppies. I was going to say semi-give up and go into standing mode. Hi, puppies! Don't mind me. I'm just a little innocent dizzy. Just having a wander. I'm not very tasty, I promise. Okay. Come on. That tiny little like bump there that I was unable to get over without jumping. That's why I hate hills in this game. But this bit is vegetated, which is good news, because vegetation usually indicates stuff you can walk up. Boom said, is it weird that high frame rates upset me? No, not at all. I have never seen the, I've never really felt like I desperately need super high frame rates. Honestly, like, 30 Hz is totally good enough for me. I think when console gamers are talking about, like, 60 FPS or whatever, I genuinely could not care less. Because the human eye doesn't have 60 FPS. So the benefits you get from having a game with 60 FPS have got to be minimal. Because the hardware in your body at that point is your limiting factor. And no matter how much you spend on a NVIDIA GX 2012, you know, you're never going to get a better eye. It says, I'm going back to my TP hidey hole. It is perceivably different and I hate it. It is a little bit different, and if you can perceive that difference, then I'm not going to sneer at you for not liking the difference. That's entirely up to personal opinion. It's like how I think a lot of things look less good in HD. Like like when a TV says it's HD ready, that HD. When you have like BBC One HD, I don't know what that actually corresponds to in like numbers terms, how that is different from... I don't know what that is in P, if you will. 720p, 1080p, whatever. But when a TV says it's HD, I think a lot of things look worse in HD than they do in SD. It's been... we heard the wolves, but it's been a while since we've actually seen anything. Which is one of the problems with hill climbing. Oh, come on, game. What is there that I can't get up? Bloody thing. There's a moose there. Did that moose hear me? From however far away this is. This has got blooming good ears for a moose. Normally they're thick as two short bikes. Hello, who's that? A kitty. Where are you, kitty? Okay. Nope, I missed him. What the hell? What the hell? I just put 3 rounds in that cat! What the hell? What the hell just happened? Boomer says, I saw Deadpool in 1080p and then in 4K. The extra definition was so immersion breaking I could have cried. Oh dear. Oh no. We don't want sad boom booms. Not at all. Super cat. Yeah, apparently. Like the first one, I shot it and nothing happened. I was just like, oh, I must have missed. And then the second one, I watched down the scope and I saw blood spray out of the cat and it just not react at all. Flesh intestines. What? How did that not? What? How did I not hit any vital organs there? What? It was like almost bang on 150 meters, which is what I'm zeroed to. What? How? What? 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 Boomer says, like you could see the fiddle two of space between puncher and punchy. Oh, in the high def Deadpool. Oh, that is kind of sad, I suppose. I don't know, like because in ye olde classic, like I don't know, Jackie Chan or something, I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't sneer if you could see the gap between puncher and punchy. But in something like Deadpool or Marvel or whatever, Papa. Is Papa warning of me? Did Papa hear me? Papas do have excellent hearing in the real world, so maybe they have very good hearing in game. Or maybe that one was just still upset because I fired a gun 3 times. almost impossible to tell. Oh, I think I am going to have to go all the way around here, aren't I? Oh, what a nightmare. Because look, that face... Like, it's not as high anymore, but it's still completely unscalable without specialized equipment. Ugh. Ugh. And thrice ugh. Boone says, IDK, that sort of thing, they're usually doing it but gently. I wouldn't know. Okay, apparently there's a bear here. Bear? You nearby? I could barely hear it, if you'll pardon the pun. So maybe it's not nearby. Oh my gosh, look how far out of my way I have to go. Look, I'm way further south than the actual house I started at. What a disaster. Also, this looks like a skull, right? I'm not the only one who sees that. Right? Oh yeah. Good. I'm not. Good. Excellent. Okay. Puppers are still warning calling. What the hell are you hearing me? Unless you're not warning calling me, maybe you're warning calling about the bear. Maybe the bear ran off in that direction, who knows? It says, if you rejig, so the top two are the eyes though, it looks like a frog. Hang on a sec. Kitty, 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 kitty. My kitty. Kitty, 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 kitty. Kitty? Does anyone see a kitty? Kitty? Hello? Kitty! Ah, running away kitty. That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Ah well. I was a level 8 kitty as well. It's a pretty good gold kitty. If you can get it. Oh, I was going to look at this supposed frog. You rejig so the top two are the eyes. It looks like a frog. I'm not sure what you're meaning by top two. I'm seeing eye, nose, teeth. So I'm not sure where you're seeing frog. Frog? Frog? No, I'm not seeing frog. Ow, I am clicking my neck, looking around, trying to see frog, so I will refrain from doing so any further. This does feel very Skyrim, this landscape. Boom says, I like to think there's a mod for this that replaced that caller animation with one of those squeaky chickens. That's a great idea. Boom also says, Jesus Christ, I'm drunk. That's fair. Maybe you are. Maybe I'm not inebriated enough to see the frogs. God, the dog is still hearing me and is still a million billion miles away. Yeah, the people who make this are like obscenely anti-mod. They are like some of the most mod-unfriendly game devs I've ever seen. The only people who come close are Nintendo, who are like resolutely anti-mod. But it's really a massive shame. They're like I'm extremely pro mod, but if you go on any of the like official Call of the Wild places, people there are like, if you go on like the official Kerbal Space Program forums or something, people actively talk about mods a lot. Modding is like a huge part of playing that game. If you go on the official Discord for Hunter Call of the Wild, I don't think you're even allowed to talk about mods. And the game devs are just massively like modding unfriendly. You can't get any like you can't get into their creator program if you mod. It's really gross, honestly. Like, I am anti people who are anti-mod. That was a musk deer who, unfortunately, I think heard me coming. And will doubtless get away before I am able to bring it into view. It's a shame. Does I want to say I'm pro-mod, but my granddad was a rocker. Wow. Old people jokes. I'm kidding, Bibba, it's fine. You're fine. Deer? Little deer? No, deer's gone. It says play the artistic purity sort of those. I don't even think it's that. I think they have this kind of notion. And it's shared by a lot of the community, but they have this kind of notion that if you mod your game and play with mods on, that somehow like cheapens the experience of everyone who doesn't play with mods on. Right, because like, okay, sure, there are people who play with, hacks on so that every animal is a diamond or whatever. And they do that so they can show off to the community, like, oh, hey, look how many diamonds I've got. And obviously that's dumb. But, like, it's the game developers that foster this idea that, actually having loads of diamonds is something that is like a competition among different players. The players didn't arrive at that notion independently. I found a deer. Well, I don't know. Is if there's a solid substance between me and it, and the answer was no, there isn't. But yeah, like the devs fostered that environment and that community where, like, you gain prestige by showing off the wonderful things that you've caught. And they go and say, oh well, it cheapens the experience for everyone else if you cheat. Like, no, if you have a good time while using a mod that makes animals easier to kill or something, go ahead and do that. If you want to mod in, elephants or whatever, even though the game devs had a really good reason for not putting elephants in, and a reason that I can understand and agree with. If you want to mod elephants in, then you should, and you shouldn't be, like, ostracized for doing that. It says, oh, bless their hearts, they think they've made the proper stimulator. Oh, dear. Do we think this is part of the same... No, this is a moose feed zone. Okey-doke. But yeah, they foster this kind of toxic competitive community, and then they use that as a justification for being like, well, mods ruin everyone's experience. And like, it doesn't. If I mod my game, if I were to mod Pikachu into the game and go around and shoot Pikachu, that doesn't hamper anyone else's experience of the game. And it's just... It's daft and it's silly. And it's almost as silly as that time Nintendo said that people who play Nuzlocke are as bad as people who play ROM hacks. Which is just like an obscene level of not understanding, your own community and your own product. If you think those two things are somehow the same. It says we need to stage an intervention and let them know the truth. Well, maybe one day they'll watch my streams. When I get my streamer millions and I'm, the biggest Call of the Wild streamer left in the world. And then they'll come into my stream and I'll be like, oh hey, you're the people who make Call of the Wild. Here's reasons why you're effing idiots. Maybe then they'll at least hear, even if they won't necessarily do anything about it. Boom says, but you see, other players might get jealous if they see you having fun. Yes. Boom says, also, I'll be able to rip them to shreds over them fish. I mean, as someone who's not a fisherman, I find the fish less jarring than the fishing that they've chosen not to include in their fishing simulator game. It would be a little bit... Hello? I've got a spot prompt. But I don't know who for. A moose! Hello, moose! Let's get the big arrows out for the moose. Oh, there's also a pigu. Well, I'll have a look out for the pigu. And a pupper. There's just some of everything around, apparently. Pigu? Pigu, you around? No. The wind has changed, though. Which isn't good for me, because I'm coming up on this moose from upwind of it, which is never what you want. But I mean, everyone is around in this forest, and apparently everyone is hearing me. I am the noisiest thing in this forest today. Where's this moose gone? I know there was a moose over there. Because I spotted him with my goggles. I've no idea where he's got to now. There's just forest and fluff and guff and nonsense in the way. Hello, moose. Hello, moose. Moose, where are you at, moose? No sign of La Moose. I'm actually heading west now. The opposite of the way I want to go, looking for this bloomin' moose that seems to have vanished into the ether. I think we're gonna leave the moose. I don't know what's happened to the moose. But I think we are going to leave it. Alright, where are we heading? Up there. Okay. It's like the opposite of the way we've just been going for the last 10 minutes looking for this bloomin' moose. Oh dear. Oh, is this a zone? It is. Okay, we'll pick up the zone on the way then. Go behind that rock, dear! I need to come back. Ah, you blasted thing. I stepped into a tree and it hurt me. Blast, blast, dither and blast and dash it all. See, this is why rocks are my nemesis. Okay? Because they're not see-through and they're not shootable through either. Oh dear, oh dear. What time is it? 11 minutes past 9. And we are not really any closer to where we wanted to be. In fact, we are almost further away from where we wanted to be than we were when we started. Hello, who's that? I don't know, but he's coming at me fast. Oh my god, I got him! Wow! Hashtag did not expect! Wait, where are you? You're on the other side of that rock! Wow! I was not expecting that to work at all. Come on, little dear. God, if I had a collar, I could just hike you over. And I don't, and I can't, and so I'm never going to be able to shoot you. This is so frustrating. It's so close. It's just over there. But I can't get near to it. Oh, hang on. I've got a spot if I can... No, it's gone. Dash it all. You see it all? Well, dash it. Okay, right, where are we going? Over this way. We got a pig. We got a pig that I wasn't expecting to get. So, you know. You win some, you lose some. I haven't shot a pig in quite a few streams, despite, at some points, desperately searching and begging and pleading for pigs to appear. I'm just going to go through some really noisy brush. That's fine. Oh no, I think I've got the bloody noise bug back. I hate the noise bug. Hello? Such a stupid encounter! He, like, snuck up on me, and I had time to change arrows, put in on him, to shoot him, and he flew up and he flopped down! Hang on, kitty cat, I'll come for you in a sec. I'm so stupid. He's a gold rank one as well. So silly. Ow, 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 I've hurt my chest now. Hello, is this? No. Okay. Oh, I should call for the cat. I think the cat's probably fled by now, but Boom says, breathe, Dizzy, breathe. Breathing is for the weak. You know what? It's another rock in my way. There we go. There's something to... No, hang on. Spot. Give me the spot! Bloody game. Oh my god, I got another hit! Over a rock! Oh, hello. Wow! I'm doing well for shots that by rights should have gone straight into rocks but didn't. Ah, that was not the best shot in the world. But it was still a hit and a kill, so you know. I can't really complain. maybe don't take that particular thing to heart. just for future reference. Oh, you've really tickled me now. Oh, I've got the bloody noise bug again. I wish I knew how to cure you. That seems to have worked. Ow. 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 I should have a drink as well. Hang on, I'm gonna go on mute. Ah, okay. Right. Return to normal resting breathing rate. Resting heart rate of like 300. I don't know. My heart is very healthy. It says I think they're normally referred to as cicadas rather than noise bugs. different kind of noise bug. For example, cicadas don't follow you the same way this bloody thing does. Oh, I hate it. Look, I'm making no noise, and down in the bottom right hand corner it thinks I'm making 3 noise. 3 is a lot of noise. Three is too much noise to be stealthy. And yet it is confident that I'm making that much noise, when I am in fact trying to be stealthy. Bastard thing. Oh dear. Who says maybe the cicadas want you? Get me a hat that says, "Fish fear me, cicadas want me." But we are making altitude progress, at least. We've got up a whole 2 contours since the tunnel. It's taken us about half an hour, maybe a bit more. It says maybe they're screaming maniacally to attract you. Well, I would mind less if it didn't come with the horrible, horrible sounds. Hate that noise so much. It's so awful. It's like I'm putting on like 20 layers of excruciatingly loud coats. Oh, it's just awful. Ah, shut up. Okay, where do we go from here? Is the next question. How do we think we can ascend the next level? Oh, I think it's gone. Thank God for that. Ugh. Well, it would be silly to come here and not grab whatever that is. So we'll grab whatever that is. Right. I don't think I can get up over this bit of ridge. I think I probably can get up over this bit if I want to go even further south. The alternative option... So I can go south and then double back on myself up here. Or I can go north and see if I can get around up this way. Which might be less out of my way overall. Probably. But is... Like, I don't know for certain I can get up either of these. I'm just guesstimating. Where's Kitty? Kitty is over there. Kitty is over there and actually hasn't detected me. How steep does that look? That still looks pretty steep to me. Well, that's a kitty cat eating zone. What's this? That's the thing, we don't need that. What do you reckon, Boom Boom? North or south? Is kitty cat coming to where I called from? Answer, apparently not. Okay. The thing about north is that north is more of a risk. Because if I go north and I can't get up there, I then have to track all the way down here. Whereas if I go south and I can't get up there, I can go a little bit more south, or I can go all the way up north. The other thing, of course, is if I take the south route, I might, depending on what the terrain is like up here, I might be in sight of these two quite large lakes. Because if I go north, I reckon the vegetation's going to be much thicker. And I'll only get eyes on maybe these two little lakes. I think north. I'm trying to go north. Oh, okay, actually, but the other option is, if I go south, I can just change plans completely and go for that. Which might have a house there, although that's quite far. Quite far. Just trying to sort of measure distance on my screen. It's quite far. Okay, we'll go north. We'll stick with the original plan. If we don't make it in the next hour and a half, then I'll come back off stream and quad bike and tent. Okay, where am I actually going to though? Let's put a thing sort of there-ish. Name for that. Ow. Ow. Everything hurts from laughing too much. also wonder, like, this bit of this axe is just stuck in one of the bits of wood. Like, that's terrible. You just lopped off a bit of one of the planks that you're gonna try and build with. What sort of idiot does that? Gonna go have a look for this cat. I don't know if I actually want to shoot it or not. Because going downhill carries some quite severe penalties in terms of time spent getting back up the hill. No, I think wherever that cat is, it's a lost cause. See, that's the other thing about going south, is that if I go north, I'm going to hear lots of animals that are like over this ridge that I can't shoot. We'll keep going north. Stick to the plan, Dizzy. Stick to the plan. Have confidence in the plan, and then it doesn't matter if the plan is terrible or not, because you're doing it with confidence. I mean, that's what? That's 600 meters there. Maybe another 700 meters up the slope. Maybe another 500 meters to the thing. That's 1500 meters. We can do 1500 meters in an hour and a half. We can do 500 meters every half an hour. That's achievable. Right? Boom Boom says, oh god, I just read the safety warnings on my vape. Nearly had a dang heart attack. Because you know what it says? I do not know what it says because I've never had a vape. Does it say don't use with alcohol? Fatal in contact with skin. That's terrifying. Which bit is fatal and on contact with skin? And why are you putting that in your body? If it's fatal on contact with your skin, it's at least gonna seriously mess you up on contact with lung. Boom says, me having ripped that 41 apart the other day. Oh my god, Boom Boom. Oh, there's a light over there. I wonder what light that is. I guess it's gonna be that, isn't it? There we are. Oh, pressing R when you don't have anything that you can highlight just deletes your waypoint. Hello? There we go. It says IDK, which part? Yeah, maybe you should speak to like a pharmacist about that tomorrow, because that doesn't sound good at all. It says, I think it refers to the maybe fact that dipping your finger in pure nicotine will apparently kill you. Let's check just to be on the safe side, eh? Oh, look, I've got to the sleepy bit of the stream. Oh dear. Nap time. One of my friends is apparently playing Final Fantasy XIV Online. Which is, I think, the most peer-recommended MMO ever in history. Literally everyone I've ever met who plays Final Fantasy XIV is like, oh my god, you have to play Final Fantasy XIV. And it says, I mean, if it's going to come in, it's already too late. Yeah, but if it's going to do you harm, then it's not already too late. And at the very least, if you're gonna mess around with the vape again at some point in your life, which seems likely, it's probably a good idea to figure out exactly what you can and can't do. Unless you're suddenly struck by the compulsion to quit vaping, which, I mean, I would wholeheartedly support, obviously. It says, yeah, but when you do play it, it turns out they have very, very specific ideas of how exactly to have fun playing FF14. I don't know. I don't know a lot about MMOs. Like, I played RuneScape. I've streamed RuneScape. Old school RuneScape. But, other than that, like, I don't think MMOs are really my jam a lot of the time. So, yeah. I don't really know a lot about them, but I'm happy staying away. It says you're permitted to play it on a console, you're not permitted to use a controller. What? 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 Oh, excuse me. Oh dear. Oh, so much yawning going on. It says they're a cool idea, but they're full of people and people are scary. True. And one of my friends, not the one who I was talking about, one of my friends who plays Final Fantasy XIV, like, does guilds and stuff in Final Fantasy XIV, and like I'd be maybe a bit interested in doing community stuff with people that I know. I can see how that might appeal. There are games that are multiplayer only or basically multiplayer only that I don't get to play because I don't have people to play them with. Stuff like Sea of Thieves. Like, Sea of Thieves on your own is excruciatingly dull and quite painful. So, you know, there's things like that and I'd be maybe interested in doing multiplayer Final Fantasy XIV with like a dedicated group of people. But I just don't think the gameplay is up to it, even if for some reason there was a group of people that wanted to do. I don't think it encourages like the kind of co-op multiplayer that I'd be after, which is a bit more sort of like hands-on with one person to another, if that makes sense. You know, like on a sliding scale of Portal 2 co-op, where you have to do everything together, to Pokemon Go co-op, where other people are basically just an accessory. You don't ever have to speak to them at all if you don't want to. They just happen to sort of do the same things at roughly the same time as you. Final Fantasy XIV definitely seems to be on the Pokemon Go end of that spectrum. It says you would start a game with a group you know. You wouldn't start a group with a game you know. It's less about that. It's more about like how full contact the multiplayer is for me. Like, I'd consider at least multiplayer with people I don't know. Hell, I've sort of done that with like Crusader Kings, and when I was playing Europa Universalis, it was with like one person I know and one person I like barely know in a game that I was completely new to as well. Like, there was very little that I knew there, but because it was like, there's three of us playing a game together, that's a very different multiplayer experience too. There's a guild of 200 people who do a raid together as a group of like 20 people. God, these hillsides are barren. Devoid of animals. Which, on the one hand, means there's fewer distractions, so my journey is more direct. But on the other hand, it's a little boring. Also, is this a river? This definitely feels like a river, but there's no flowing water. I guess maybe there is in summer? Oh, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sleepy today! Just read out the words Call of the Wild to me and I just become sleepy. Oh dear. Suppose I can look up at the moon. Need me other binoculars on to look at the moon. Moon. There we go. This moon was AI generated for you by Samsung Galaxy phone technology. I like the thing where the guy like digitally altered his picture of the moon to have like a person in it, and let the Samsung AI technology create like a moon but with a bit of a person in it in enhanced detail. I thought that was quite funny. I do find it so weird that phones struggle so much with photographing the moon compared with human eyes. You know that I'm not super like with it in how tech works, but it's one of those things that it feels like there should be a way that technology operates that should make this a trivial concern. And the fact that it doesn't means that nothing is working the way, in my non-technologically minded head, it ought to work. You've not seen that. You've not seen the Samsung AI moon stuff. It was quite the mini scandal. Because everyone and their mother, including me, wants to be able to take pictures of the moon because it's a thing you see often, and it looks kind of pretty, and it's got all these romantic notions and what have you attached to it. So people want to take a picture of the moon, but at least phone cameras are absolutely rubbish at taking pictures of the moon. It just looks like a sort of a nondescript white circle on a black background. And so various phone manufacturers were like, hey, let's artificially enhance, because the thing about the moon is it always looks the same, right? There's only one side of the moon that is always facing towards us. So they're just like, well, if we just use a reference image of the moon, that's what everyone wants to see in their photo. We can just put it there. If so long as we can recognize when there's supposed to be a moon in shot, we just slap a picture of a moon in there. And everyone will be really happy. They'll be like, hey, we took a great picture of the moon. How wonderful is this camera on our phone? And it almost in a way might have been a win-win. Much more of a win... What the hell track did I just examine? Oh, that's... interesting. That's a track that is not being highlighted. That's not good. I don't know why that's not being highlighted. It says, actually you see about 210 degrees of the moon rather than 180. It jiggles kinda. Yeah. You know. It says it must be Bigfoot. No, Bigfoot's somewhere else on this map. We were finding Bigfoot tracks down here, I think. Where am I going from here? I suppose, let's just put a marker up there. And if we can't go in exactly a straight line, we'll at least go sort of close to a straight line. And it says the abominable snowman. Now, I am not... I'm not the biggest cryptozoologist in the world. Hang on a sec, did I hear footsteps? No, I did not hear footsteps. But yeah, as someone who is not the biggest cryptid person in the world, is the abominable snowman the Yeti? And is the Yeti Bigfoot? And if no to one or other of those, is the abominable snowman Bigfoot? Because I know there are like Bigfoot-like cryptids from loads of different places. You've got the Yeti and the Bigfoot and the abominable snowman myths and stuff, and you have the one from like North America that eats goats. That the name of I can't quite remember right off the top of my head. Sasquatch. There we go. And like, there's various things like that from all over everywhere. But are specifically those three, abominable snowman, Yeti, Bigfoot, are they all myths about a creature from like the same area? Because the Yeti is in the Himalayas, right? Like Tibet region. Is Bigfoot in the Himalayas as well? Boom says Yeti and Bigfoot are for sure two different things. Okay. Bigfoot's American. Okay. So are Bigfoot and the Sasquatch the same thing? Is that an animal or is that a rock? I think that's a rock. Okay. Nothing to get too excited about then. I think that's looking climbable up ahead, but it is fairly steep still. Doesn't bode well. It says Yeti equals abominable snowman, Bigfoot equals Sasquatch. Okay. Okay, I'm doing a learn. Can I use emotes on my little thingy app? I can. There we go. I'm doing one of them. How far away is that actually? Oh, that's out of render distance. That's why I can't see if there's any animals up there. Also, God, I can feel my voice kind of going a bit. I'm gonna take some more drink. Who was it who asked if that was a pyramid scheme? Should I be offended? Is it just me who's like, oh, that's obviously a phylogenetic tree? Is my art just that bad? Oh, hello. Okay, that's extra concerning. Now that's 2 tracks in a row that we've not seen. Have I turned them off somehow? In the game? Okay, apparently I managed to turn that off somehow. I don't quite know how. I didn't go into that menu. So, for the last 20 minutes, we might have been missing all sorts of things. Who knows? Boomer says, I can't even spell something tree to tell you that it's not what most people think of on seeing that emote. Oh, cry. Big cry. Hang on. Okay, it's phylogenetic. It's... Oh, crap, I had caps on, sorry. I accidentally all caps it, but yeah, it's that word. Phylogenetic. A phylogeny is a family tree of species, basically. Actually, not always of species. You can get phylogenetic trees of words. People who do linguistics often, I say often, I don't actually know how often, but they organize words into like trees of common roots and stuff, which is really cool. Boom says, personally, I think it looks like the hierarchy of who's in charge at Springfield Nuclear Power Plant. I didn't know there was a diagram for that. Come on, animals, anywhere. Well, I've turned on animal clues again, somehow. How on earth did I turn that off? It feels weird if there's a hotkey for that. It's not F1 through 3. Hang on a sec. Let's stop here. It's not any of the function keys. Weird. Really weird. It says, in a Musk and his dog predicting move, it is Canary M. Burns in charge, followed by his owner, C. Montgomery Burns. Canary M. Burns? Okay. I don't know enough Simpsons lore to know which one of those is Mr. Burns. But I also don't care that much to some extent. I've never been the biggest Simpsons fan in the world. I liked some of their stuff when they did like The Simpsons does Hamlet or whatever. Simpsons does Macbeth. Other than that, I can very much kind of take it or leave it. You are so upset? You know I have taste. This isn't news. I think I've just lost a viewer there, everyone. Boomer says, I know your tastes have brought you to me and are therefore questionable. Oh, that's not... Don't be rude to Boom Boom. We stand Boom Boom here in this chat. This is a no rude to Boom Boom zone. Was that an animal up there? Was that just might have just been that bush moving. Okay. Oh my god, are we done with this hill yet? No. Oh my gosh, there's might actually be a house here. Please, God, let it be so. Hello. There are kitty cat feeding tracks here. We are well too late for a kitty cat, though, I think. Nope, it's a bear. Hello, bear. You facing away from me? You are. Oh, sod. Not that one. How does that bear feel about me? He's not best pleased. I hear them. We'll find out shortly how well I hear them. He's not dead, which suggests I didn't hit him well. Bleed rate very low. Oh dear. No organs hit! Oh dear, that was my fault for trying a long shot. Shouldn't have bothered. Shouldn't have bothered trying a long shot. Is it even worth tracking him? Probably not. He'll be long gone. And well, I'll know where he was. Hang on, I've just realised two of these tracks are connected. I don't know what that was. I think that might have been a caper K. Yeah. I'll know if he dies because there'll be a splodge on the map, but from that range, and without any organs being hit, because I fired a crummy shot like a numpty instead of actually using a proper gun and hitting him properly, I just sort of fired a bow and hoped. Yeah. We will assume that the bear is not going to die, and if he does, then we can come back and find him. Someone has lunch here. I have to figure out how to get up that hill. Yeah, you can warning call. It's... Okay, I'm fairly confident now the bear isn't going to die. No, that's not true. I was fairly confident before. I'm now very confident the bear isn't going to die. First animal for half an hour and we fluffed it. Somebody goes to sleep. Over this way. Let's go find out who. Well, they might still be there. Hello? Little dear? I hear you. I don't see you. Hello? Hello? Little dear? I don't know what you think that sounds like, but I promise you it definitely sounds nothing like the sound we just heard. Oh, hello. You're apparently over there. Oh yeah, we got him. Gotcha. Right in the back. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Okay, there is another one calling. I think my chances of shooting him are going to be really slim. Especially considering how much brush there is here. But we'll give it a go. What was the comment you were writing, Boom Boom? I want to know. I probably won't read it out loud, but I want to know. I so wish I could call you to me. Come here, little dear. I wish to spill your blood upon the snow. Oh. Coward. uh... Let's just put it this way, Boom Boom. If a sound ever like that ever comes out of my mouth... Oh, hello, he's teleporting slightly. It's because he's on a rock. Rocks are, of course, the great enemy. Hello, I'm hoping that we are back. Just gonna type in chat to see if we can confirm. I've just had a glance at Steam as well, and I've discovered that I got the achievement, This is not a zombie game. Down 10 animals by hitting the brain. Today. I didn't think I'd hit any animals in the brain today, had I? I don't remember getting that. I don't remember shooting an animal in the brain. Yeah. Twitch OBS says we're back up. So I'm gonna put this in front of your screens. And then, let's get on with the thing. We back. Fantastic. Wonderful. Just waiting for a little bit of confirmation there. Yeah, the deer got away. Now finish that cliffhanger. The deer got away. That was the cliffhanger finished. It was on the other side of a rock. I don't know if you saw that bit. Its head was poking out before its body was, so there was no way to shoot it because it could see us long before we could see any of its vital organs. And it was tragic, and then I said, it's okay, there will be other deer. And then you said, F. I don't like my chances of getting up this slope. Oh god, hills in this game are such a menace! Oh, that cliffhanger! Ah, okay, I see. Right. I actually, funnily enough, I actually didn't finish that sentence because I spotted the deer's face and went into quiet hunter mode. Um, Feel free to assume that it was going to end with some versions of, like, Call a Doctor. Call of the Wild Hills, why do you have to be so mean? Oh dear. Although, to be fair, if that noise ever does come out of my mouth, there probably is a deer involved, because that's not a noise that humans should make. This might be finagleable. That's Oxford Dictionary's word of the year. Just gonna throw that out there. Finagleable. Able to be finagled. Boomer said, I argue that human would only make that noise if the deer got too close, not if it gets away. Ugh. Come on, let me up. There we are. Okay, we are 300 meters away from that peak now, which is really good news. It means we are definitely going to get there in time this stream. And if there is a house, we should get to that too. You know, up close, the frost on these, this like grassy texture, it looks almost like the fuzz on a deer's antler. There's no great significance to that, I was just sort of noticing it and thinking about it. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm yawning so much! We still got a whole another hour to go stream. I gotta not fall asleep in that time. Oh, now we have tracks. Tracks is good, it means animals can get here. Oh, we've actually found the path. Oh, that looked climbable. That looks climbable. Who says lies? It has never been 2 hours of stream already. Yep. I suppose time flies when you're having fun, and you're having more fun than most people watching the stream. But yes, no, it has been 2 hours and 7 minutes, not including stream Fs. The stream F'd as soon as I opened the game, actually. There've been 2, you weren't even here for that one, I don't think. Oh, no, you said it crashed as soon as you clicked on it, that's right. The same place that all past hours go, Boom Boom. It's a deep and metaphorical question that someone could probably write a young adult novel about. Maybe I should. I mean, I'm terrible at writing young adult literature. I'm terrible at writing everything. Hello? Are you oh, you're a sleepy zone. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to get to you though, because Call of the Wild has decided that I can't get up this tiny little slope. Okay, fine, we'll jump. If anyone's sleeping, they're not anymore. Oh, excuse me. Right, only one person sleeps here, but they sleep here a lot. So at least like 3 different sleeping patches. Which means they must be a very restless sleeper. Like, imagine if you went to sleep for, what, 4 hours? That's 8 o'clock to midnight. 4 hours. And you slept in 3 different spots in those 4 hours. That's like you don't even get much more than an hour between moving. That's terrible. Should see a doctor. Okay, we finally got that on the map. I'm gonna take a gamble that is our house, outpost that we want to go to. Oh, I can even see it. Ah, oh, what a glorious sight! We spent the entire stream trying to get to you. Jesus. Then it says, yeah, that sounds like my sleep. Oh no, Boom Boom, that's terrible. Oh, for God's sake. Oh. The relief as this thing finally comes into view. And we can actually get to it and get up it and do a bloomin' survey of the surrounding landscape. How far is that? That house? 700 meters, that's quite far. Boom Boom! You must take care of the Boom Boom. It's priority number 1. Oh, sorry, sleepy. This staircase has just made me sort of think of something. If I was making a staircase in Minecraft, and I had a square structure, and I wanted my staircase to go up the middle of it, what the hell? What the hell is that noise? What the hell is that noise? Are we in a blizzard? What the hell? Oh, I don't like that. It does sound like a river, you're right. Oh, I don't like that one bit. I was worried for a sec that it wasn't an in-game noise, but it changes when I use my binoculars, so it must be. Oh, I don't like that at all. That's a horrible noise. It says there shouldn't be any river noises up if there weren't any down. You are absolutely correct. Oh, you can go. There's an uppia up. Oh, there's an uppia up with a hole in the railing. How safety! How wonderful is that? And an explosive barrel. Oh, I can't quite get to the right height to look through these for distant viewing. Thanks. I had no idea what binoculars were for before you told me that. Let's go back down. God, this is a horrible place to be, this lookout tower. It's not like the Leighton one, so there's like a nice indoor space. No. This is just like unsheltered, basically open on all sides. Alright. Survey. It looks dark. It looks like dark, horrible, snowy wilderness, which is of course what it is. Then it says, oh, I think it's a really naff wind noise. I assume it must be. Yes, that was indeed a house. Fantastic. Less fantastic is no obvious houses between me and my next destination over there. But, not to worry. We'll pick up that one, and that's probably where we'll end the stream. If not, we might check out some of these things, but we won't be making any further progress in our great march eastwards. Oh, that really it came upon me suddenly, and it took me by surprise, and I don't like it. Oh, thank goodness it's gone. I guess it's only when you're up there that it does horrible wind noise. Oh. Oh, that makes me cold in my soul, hearing that. Rightio then, rightio. 730 odd meters to cover, and 45 minutes to do it in. How far does it reckon that is in minutes? That's weird, it used to say... There we go, 13 minutes. Although, I should probably actually put a marker on the path. And then pick up the path. Hello? Oh, you're going to be like over some hilly bits and rocks that'll be awkward to get to. I think I'll give you a pass. Thank you for like offering to be shot, but no thanks. You will not be shot today. Actually, something that's just occurred to me. There's a little, not weird or unusual, but unique about Call of the Wild. This is the only first-person shooter that I can think of that doesn't have a non-shooting option. Like, there's no melee, there's no explosives, because of course there aren't. You know, that's not hunting. But like, it's normally when you say shot, you mean shot or stabbed or blown up. But in this game, you actually mean shot. Because that's the only way I can affect an animal. And I just never processed that before. Also, that's not very interesting. I'm not making insightful video game commentary here. These are just whatever ramblings my tired brain comes up with. Oh, don't tease me! Because you're on the other side of that, and I can't shoot you through that. Rocks are bulletproof. It says, arguably the bow is long-distance stabbing. I don't think you can argue that the bow is long-distance stabbing. I think the bow is... I think the bow is the original shooting. Like, I don't think anything was shooting before the bow. Maybe blow darts were, I'm not 100% sure which came first, but, like, the bow pretty much definitionally is shooting. It says, no, you're right, pretty sure even the early Duke Nukem games had melee. I know nothing about Duke Nukem games, but... yeah. Like I say, it's not weird. You wouldn't want to try and knife a deer. But it's odd that, like, sometimes they run up to you and even though I don't have great, like, FPS reflexes, my FPS reflexes are still telling me, okay, melee it. With what? The best I could do is spray stuff in its face. And even that is technically a projectile weapon. Why? Why do you call to me when you know I am not coming? Like, it is entirely possible that I will go through the rest of my time on this map and never shoot you. Boomer says, N64 kids had GoldenEye, PS1 kids had Duke Nukem, but mostly because our parents did not vet our games at all back then. I thought GoldenEye was a PlayStation release. I'm sure I remember playing it on the PlayStation, or one of them, I don't know which one. Also, the N64, it occupies like a weird place in my mental history of things. Because, like, the first games console, the first home console I had was a GameCube. And so that's, like, that's old console to me. And then before the GameCube, you have, like, stuff that was retro when I was getting my first games console, which was the NES and the SNES and stuff like that, of that era. And then the N64, it just kind of occupies this sort of... it just has this nothing era where the N64 is in my head. Like, you could remove that console from history. You could drop it into like a Doctor Who crack in time. And I would barely notice. You know, and it's weird because, like, lots of iconic things happened on the N64. There was the first 3D Mario. I'm sure there was probably the first home console Zelda, although I don't know what that might have been. You know, lots of stuff. and it's just... like, everything old, I'm like, oh, that must be SNES, NES. And everything like super old is like, oh, that must be SNES, NES. And everything old must be GameCube. And in my head, there's just like no in-between space. There's no time period for the N64 to fit into. I know that's a really weird thing to say, and Boomer is getting cross at me for calling the 90s a nothing era. I didn't say the whole 90s were a nothing era, just that one console. And because, like, stuff that came out on, I assume the PS1 was contemporaneous to the N64. I don't actually know, but like stuff that came out on the PS1 it's not the same. You know, like the PS1 fits conceptually into a space before the PS2, in a way that the N64 doesn't fit into a space before the GameCube. Boomer says, Tizzy, how are you simultaneously my age and 10 years younger than me? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But to be fair, your age is mysterious and ethereal for a reason. You talk about things that like people who are much older than me talk about and have experiences of. It feels sometimes like you're 10 years older than me. Maybe not a full 10 years, but like 7. Uh-oh, I'm walking off the track and nearly fell off the hill. That would have been bad. Oh my god, we're 300 meters away. We've nearly done it, gang. We've nearly done it. It says, I'll agree that the N64 was weird the 80s for coming out in the mid-90s. I don't know if I'd even say that. Like, it feels... I don't know, like Super Mario N64 feels later than the N64 would have been. In my head. And Pokemon Stadium, like, is the only other main big N64 game that I can think of. Like, it feels weird. Like, it feels like there shouldn't be a space where it existed. Because Pokemon Red and Blue feel too old to be contemporaneous with a 3D home console game. But Gold and Silver feel like, well, they were just before the GameCube, because Pokemon Silver was the game that I had before I got a GameCube. I had a GBA. I played Pokemon Silver on it because you could, and then the GameCube and the third gen Pokemon games all sort of happened more or less at once. Hello. Can you stay still, please? It didn't stay still, but I shot it and then it stayed still enough for me to shoot it again properly. Which I'm going to take as a success. Oh, the first one was actually a spine shot, which I wasn't expecting. And then the second one was the shot I actually was like trying to take. Oh, well that went well. And we've actually shot an animal, which is nice. Bimim says... Hang on a sec, sorry, I'm scanning the hillside. Just in case I flushed anything out by firing a very loud weapon. But no, I did not. Bimim says, Pokemon was a weird glitch in economics, where a game for a roughly 8-year-old handheld console got insanely huge. Did it? Is that how old the Game Boy was when Pokemon came out? That's crazy. I suppose it must be though, because like the Game Boy Color was soon enough after Pokemon Red and Blue that Pokemon Yellow was for the Game Boy Color. So I guess that makes sense. Game Boy came out in '89. God, that's so ancient. That's so old. You're probably gonna curse me for saying this, but that's so old. Anything with an 8 in front of it is really old. No one says, or at least that's what the Mobo Online said. I don't know what a Mobo is, but what time is it? It's okay. It's apparently like not nighttime anymore. Even though Siberia, much like Boom Boom, does sort of seem to exist in an almost timeless, permanent state. Alright, so we're gonna have about half an hour. I don't know where to go. I think we should check out these things. What way is the wind blowing? The wind's blowing south, so yeah, check out these things. They are to the not south. It says motherboard. If you took the battery cover off, shone a light in, you could read the copyright. Oh, that's interesting. So it had like that see-through plastic casing then. I never liked that stuff. I think even when I was like 10 or 7, I sort of felt that see-through plastic was a bit tacky. Ow! Or like it was semi see-through plastic. It wasn't like completely see-through. It was like the surface was slightly rough, so it had a matte finish that slightly prevented it from being completely see-through. It says no, I had the proper beigey grey one with the purple buttons. Oh, okay. Oh, you did say if you took the battery cover off. I was just being thick. As is my wont from time to time. A lovely pair of snow-covered antlers over the door. Very nice, very rustic. Very country. Like American country, not Russian country. Oh, we can hear another sort of distant rumbling wind noise as well. Alright. Plane. Okay. So all of our journeying today hasn't been in vain. We've actually achieved something. Something like demonstrable and measurable and useful. Thank God. Can you imagine if I'd spent all that time just wiggling through this horrible like terrace and had nothing to show for it at the end of 3 hours? That would have been a nightmare. I would have been devastated. That's so pretty! Hang on, I'm gonna take a photo of that. Look at that! That's like the rising sunlight catching on the trees. Hang on, let's get this house properly into shot, I guess. No, the house is quite ugly, actually, let's not. Oh, we stan! We stan! My regular once per Call of the Wild stream of commenting on how pretty this game is, because it is. Boomer says, I'll also play up on Pokemon that was designed for the GBC. It was designed to be compatible with a Super Game Boy add-on for the home console. Silver and Gold were GBC compatible, but Crystal was the only one designed for the GBC. When I say... Wait, okay, so firstly, I don't know what the Super Game Boy add-on for the home console is. But when I said yellow was designed for the Game Boy Color, like... I mean, it had color. Play everything up to Crystal Energy Game Boy? Yeah, but like... When I say designed for, I mean they put color in it, which you obviously couldn't render on an original Game Boy that didn't have color. That's what I mean. Oh, I should switch to my day binoculars. Okay, this is a really pretty area. This is a particularly pretty bit of the game. I quite like this. This is my new favourite bit of the map, I think. Maybe. I don't know if I can forgive the map for this horrible nightmare. But, I mean, what we've got at the end has certainly been worth it so far. This is also the most Skyrim yet, I feel. Which may be influencing my decision. Or maybe it's just because it's morning and everything looks pretty in the morning. Who knows? Not me. I just ramble and fill airtime. Oh, hello. Who's this? It's a bear. That's not a bear caller. This is a bear caller. It says the Super Game Boy was a thing you could plug into the cartridge slot of your Nintendo to play Game Boy games on it. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about that. I have something very similar for my GameCube that lets you play GBA games on it, and I think as a result does also let you play Game Boy and Game Boy Color things on it. I think it wasn't until the DS that they realized that they could not have backwards compatibility with original Game Boy cartridges. Which was a crying shame, because I always wanted to play my silver cartridge on my DS Lite. Okay, that bear is obviously gone. He's wandered off. That's a shame. Oh well. We'll carry on. It says, no, Game Boy Advance Micro could only play GBA games. Oh, I don't think I even met the Game Boy Advance Micro. I know the Advance and the SD. The SD, incidentally, massive downgrade on the original Game Boy Advance. I know that the flip thing, is what then led to the DS and stuff. But, nah, I'd take my OG GBA over an SD any day. Hello? There's a bird. A very heavy bird, by the sounds of those footfalls. See if we can sneak up on the bird, shall we? It says the micro was roughly the size of a GBA cartridge. What? That surely can't be right. Just gonna get this out. Just in case I need to take some... Oh, that is not a bird. At all. That's nothing like a bird. Hey there, bear. I maybe could have tried that with a bow shot, but he was head on to me. Oh, hello, who's that over there? No, no, stay still, stay still! Ah, you swine. Where's that? Where's that? Was that? Was that? Was that? I don't want to know where the bloody bear is! I want to know where the bloody hen is! Ah, got away. Blast. Okay, 2 nice bear kills. I'm actually pretty happy about those. This one's going to be right medium. He won't have got far. And the other one is over there. In fact, I can actually use... I hear someone else. Okay. Do you reckon you can... No, okay, you don't reckon you can stay still for me, do you? That's a shame. It would have been nice to take you out. But I didn't want to use a proper gun because of all the hunting pressure. Anyway. What am I doing? Putting on the proper arrow. Following the spare. Going back to my book. There we are. Boomer says, a GBA cartridge is 57mm long. The micro screen was 51mm long, with the D-pad buttons either side. That's crazy! Boom boom. Oh. I don't have a requirement that they're nervous. I feel like that's an odd requirement to have. But indeed, what do I know? What way is the wind blowing? The wind's blowing west right now. Okay, well, we'll head back, pick that up, and then go to that one. Oh, another bear. Another bear. Like he smelt me because he's downwind. Where hast thou run to? You just run all the way over there. Which is a long way away. Oh no, I can't see you. Okay, well that's fair. I did shoot your friend, I suppose. And your other friend. And I nearly shot your pet bird. There we go, lovely shot. Female cinnamon, brown bear. Okay. Let's go pick up t'other one. Then we can investigate those, these things. There's lots of them here, actually. There's one, like, down the mountainside. I bet I can't get to that, though. I might try quad biking off the cliff to it. Oh, hello. Oh, that was maybe a bit close for a gunshot, but no going back now. Another gold though. I only got him in the foot. I got him in his little foot. Oh, I got him in the lung on the second one though. There we are. Nice. No, he's gonna fly away. Blast! I was way too slow. I could have got him with a gunshot, but then I was trying not to. Ah dear. Ah dear. Oh, we got a bird! We got 2 birds today! That's 2 more birds than I get in a normal stream. I can't be mad. We have another wind noise. I suppose we are quite high up, so it makes sense there's lots of wind noises here. Because we're on like the top of a ridge that's running along this bit. And then that I assume must be lower, although not super much lower, because it's still above the sea level. Oh, okay, interesting. I didn't press the button for you to do that, but I'm glad that you decided to do it anyway. Pop our waypoint back over there. What is that? You know, I'm going to actually go and have a look at what that is. Because that seems interesting and unusual. Oh, this was a standing up bear. Gosh, you are a fat bear. Look at that! Look at that podge. Lodged a bullet in that podge. Let's not run too much. Spook all the things. Oh, I love the long shadows on this like snowy bit as well. Hang on. You can get a picture of this as well. Oh, that's also pretty. This game, it's so good. It looks so good. See, you don't need your NVIDIA GCX 6583s. This looks plenty good. I'm not even running this on max settings, I think, because it chokes me stream. And like every asset in this game, up close looks kinda garbage. You know, the rocks scatter awkwardly and half the time they're floating. Whatever these are, they're not the highest resolution in the world. They're obviously 2D when you look at them as well. But it doesn't matter! Oh yeah, half of the trees are also like invisible sometimes. Although I haven't noticed any invisible trees recently. So maybe they finally fixed that. Oh my god, what the hell? This is a pickup? Is this a mammoth tusk? Do you have any idea what little Dizzy's paleo brain is doing right now? How many neurons are firing? Because it's all of them. Every single one. Hang on, because there's mammoth tusk and also beautiful landscape in background as well. Wait, how do I pick it up? Can I pick it up? No. It gloweth, but I cannot pick it up. That's a surprise. I was expecting this to be something I could... I mean, taking it away with me might be a bit tricky. Because I think all the neurons firing, these little Dizzy's having a seizure. Look. I'm not a neurologist, okay? I'm just a hapless photographer on the side of a mountain, vaguely debating whether I should try and run down the mountain to get whatever that is. Because I don't fancy getting it from, like, below, so it's gonna have to be from on top. I can slide down the mountain on it. Oh, if only. But yeah, while I'm up here, I'm gonna take some more stunning landscape pictures. Because, geez, they don't know how to make a game, but they also don't know how to make an ugly game. Yeah, kitty, whatever. I've got bigger fish to fry than shooting cats right now. You know when you're, like, in Skyrim, and you get to... You get to, like, the main chamber of a dungeon, and your Skyrim follower goes, well, would you look at that? Or at least that's what Faendal says. He's the only Skyrim follower who's worth having, apart from maybe, like, Ayala, I guess. But he go like when you get to like the big waterfall chamber in the middle of the cavern, or some equally like awe-inspiring thing, he says, well, would you look at that? Well, would you look at that? Isn't that gorgeous? Honestly, even the skybox is pretty, although I understand that it's probably a lot easier to do that than to make an actual game environment pretty. And look, you can see the... oh, blimey. The bridge? The mouse sensitivity is a bit high at this level of zoom. It's the bridge I came on. Do you remember how long ago I was on that bridge? Years! Years and years of my life! That's how long. Anyway. let's plop a marker on this. See if I think I can get down to it safely. And if I can't get down to it safely, see if I will have gone too far to get back up safely by the time I realise that I can't get down to it safely. Oop. And if we do get down to it in one piece, that will probably be where we end for today, I reckon. I know we're a little early, just a smidgen early. But it beats sort of teleporting back and then having 10 minutes seeing no animals because they all got scared off by the fact I teleported. Oh god, you can see the snow blowing off the side as well. Big button as well. But the danger is the sliding. You can go off a gap. You just have to make sure that wherever you're going, you're not gonna slide into something. Because that in this game, that's what really kills you, is the sliding. Up, there we are. That's only a twisted ankle. If I'm those. Boom says I'd also be slightly scared if you teleported up to me. True, but would you be scared if I teleported 200 meters away from you and you couldn't even detect that I was doing so? Because that's how animals in this work. You teleport, everything in a 200 meter radius is spooked. It's really frustrating. Because you then spend the next 5-10 minutes not seeing any animals because you just spooked them all. I understand why they did it, so that you can't, like, abuse the teleport mechanics. You can't, like, telefrag stuff or something. But it is excruciatingly annoying. Okay, where do we think we're going from here? Yeah. I'm sorry, kitty. There's no way I'm coming back for you now. Alright, this way? I take a slightly shallower approach. I also got a mute to sneeze, hang on. Oh my gosh, puppy. What the hell is that puppy? There's nowhere around me that I shouldn't be able to see from here. If he's that close that I can hear him that loudly, how can I not see him? Oh god, that was nearly death. That was very nearly death. Where the hell is that dog? Hang on a sec. So I just read Boomer's comment that said weird sounding sneeze. Oh, that was close to death as well. Oh dear. I don't like the looks of this one bit, to be honest. This is why sensible people who do this do it while attached to a rope. And preferably with 1 to 3 friends holding onto them at the top. Where the hell was that dog? It must have been like over that ridge or something, I guess. Oh no, here's the slide, Ow, ow, are we gonna die? We're gonna die. Ah! Ah! Hiss. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Dash it all. Oh, I hate the respawn animation as well. Okay, we're gonna try again, because we got 10 minutes left. I'm gonna try again on quad bike. Why have I got the kennel option when I haven't got the DLC for it? Grumble, grumble. Ah! It says that was so close to not death though. Yeah, it was. Where's my icon? There's my icon. Oh god, I forgot that I gotta turn the volume down on this, because this thing is noisy as all hell. I gotta turn my volume down as well, hang on. There we are. Oh, I was so close! I was so close to whatever it was. I'm not even sure what it was. I couldn't see anything. Ow. That didn't go quite how I wanted it to. This feels like the run up to like the biggest jump. I'm not actually gonna jump. We're gonna try and take this much more sedately. Just with the quad bike as an added layer of like insulation between me and the ground. Or maybe we're going to slide off uncontrollably. I suppose sliding off uncontrollably works too. What I don't know is what happens if the quad bike reaches no health while I'm still on it as well. I don't know if it explodes and kills me or if it just kicks me off. We might find out today. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, sideways is not ideal. Ow, yep, I'm dead. Oh! Oh, I don't think I'm gonna get to this. I was defeated by gravity. It's actually flung me so far, it's flung me closer to a different respawn point. I genuinely don't know how to get to that thing. I'm confident that I can't get up from down below. I don't think I can get up from down below at all. That's up way too high. I guess maybe if I came up here, then maybe something here might be scalable on a quad bike? Oh, I don't know though. Seems a bit dodgy to me. Alright, we'll give it another go. One more go, because we've got 6 minutes left. Okay, first stop, bridge. Good start. Great start. Ow. Wonderful. Oh, hello. Just gonna stop and pick this up. There we go. Come on, bike. Come on, you can do this. I don't call you an ATV for nothing. Oh, rocks. Big rocks. Oh, I hate rocks. This is the other reason why I hate rocks, is because they kill the quad bike. They kill the quad bike a lot more than trees do. Okay. We're now going to pretend to be a train. Choo-choo! All aboard. Oh god, please don't fall off. You don't normally have to beg your train not to fall off, but you have to beg the quad bike not to fall off. I don't like that crashing noise, but it's fine. We made it. We did it, gang. Alright. Where the hell do we go from here? Here. Actually, I'm gonna go the sensible way. Slightly longer, but we have a better chance of actually getting there. Oh, whack! Because I need to have the quad bike there, Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that final push without it. Because there are things that you can get over that the quad bike can't, and things that the quad bike can get over that you can't. And we need to not lose the quad bike at any of the former, in case we need the quad bike for some of the latter. Alright, okay. It says, trains also like to do a wiggle off the tracks when they go far too fast. Oh no. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Right, let's take it easy, take it easy. We're on a bit of a slope here. We don't want to go too far down. And we also don't want to kill ourselves. Again. Third time's a charm, right? That's what they say. Oh, heck. I think I just scared her. Ah, no. Ow! Oh, Goldak, not me bike! Oh, I can't shoot you down this blooming scope. Way too zoomed in. There's a button for that. There we go. Stay still, will you? Yeah, I know, I'm a big spooky scary human. Do not kick my bike! I'm a terrible shot down iron sights. Aren't I? Did I even hit you once there? I definitely hit you that time. There we go. Get wrecked. I hit 3 times in total. The first shot was a scuff. The second shot, I apparently managed to hit in the spine. That probably would have taken it out on its own. And then another spine shot to finish him off. I wasn't... No, I was using the right ammo. I shot him more than 2 times. That's why. There we go. How much damage did you do to my bike, you blasted swine thing? Can I even get on my bike now? There we go. Oh, okay, bike actually didn't take too much damage from that. Maybe didn't take any damage from that. Maybe it can't take damage when I'm not on it? I don't know. I've never checked. You'd have to ride your bike like off of something and get off before it went over the edge and then find it again at the bottom. It's a tricky experiment to do. I also realised that we're going to go actually now slightly over time, having thought initially that we were going to finish a little bit early. We're now going to finish very slightly late. Just whenever when I get there or when I next crash and burn on the bike. Because I'm way too lazy to do the journey on foot, if we have to do it on foot. Oh god, don't hit the tree. Okay. That went alright. That went alright. Right, where the hell do we go from here? We go up from here. Okay, that looks achievable. Watch out for that log. Ugh! That's an example of something you can do on a bike that you can't do on foot. There we go. Right, once we're on level ground, we'll park up, grab this need zone. There we are, it's a bear need zone. Love a bear need zone. 5 bears sleep here, apparently. Alright, okay. Now where? Next we have to go to sort of there-ish. Oh, clunk. We've clunked it a bit. We're apparently in Ravonni Corpus. Oh! There's a house here. I was trying to run around it, and the quad bike was just keeping pace with me. Hello? Who the hell lives here? Oh, well, no one. Who the hell lived here, past tense? Why would you ever come up here? They're supposed to get to this thing. Because it's the only way to get there without dying. Alright, 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 alright. 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 Ugh, clunk. Alright, alright, alright. Going well. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Touch wood. Touch wood like a madman. Where now? Here. Oh, This, Well, okay, we've got good news and bad news. The good news is that... No, we'll go with the bad news. The bad news is this definitely isn't scalable. At all. Not even slightly. The good news is that I'm thinking whatever we're here for is actually going to be there, not up there. Which is why we couldn't see it from above. Boom says, that's a hunting shelter, not a house. It's not a hunting shelter. One, because it didn't have any good lookout windows to be a hunting shelter and shoot from. And secondly, because hunting shelters are like marked features in this game. And that wasn't one of them. Oh my god, those are some... I'm not sure if they're supposed to be icicles or stalactites. They could feasibly be either. Either way, they are hecka dangerous looking. What is this, though? This is great! I love this! Oh look, there's more cave paintings and all. Oh, I'm so glad we came here! What an excellent way to end the stream that I had no idea was going to be this cool! Alright, let's take a picture. Oh, I was a bit zoomed in. There we go. And then, yeah, having a little inspect. Bear hunting in ancient times could only be accomplished... Oh, hello.
This Bronze Age painting is one of our local Easter eggs. The people who painted these were ancient hunters just like you, but millennia ago, with no guns and no hunter mate. Keep your eyes open for more of this as you explore the taiga. They are rare finds.
They are, and they're very cool finds. Also, isn't that the dialogue you said last time? I feel like that's the dialogue you said last time. Anyway, bear hunting in ancient times could only be accomplished by people working in packs. Such endeavors were fraught with danger. This painting could be interpreted as a commemoration of a heroic victory over a mighty foe. Oh, that is really cool, though. Oh, I'm no archaeologist, but I do love stuff like this. I'm going to turn my torch on. Don't actually do this. If you ever see a cave painting in real life, do not shine a torch on it. It's really bad for them. Oh, it doesn't make much difference in this. That's fine. It is, yes. Oh, well, that's where we're going to end the stream, I think. In this wonderful, awesome cave with a cave painting. That's so cool. I want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. I am going to see how many of you are, and if there's a few of you, I might send you off on a little raid. If not, we will just say goodbye here. But in the meantime, I want to say big thanks to Boom Boom for being around, watching, being around in chat. It's always lovely to have peeps here to talk to. That's like why I do this. The pennies that come from it are at this point very much secondary. If you're watching this later on the VOD on YouTube, then please do remember to drop a like and maybe consider subscribing. If you have enjoyed it, there will be plenty more content like this coming out in the future. If you have enjoyed, there is loads and loads and loads of previous escapades in Call of the Wild up there as well for you to peruse at your leisure. And actually also, I never say this, but hi to the Twitch VODlings. I know you're out there, because I see your numbers in my stats. And I never expect to, but you exist, so hi. Here is your acknowledgement that you exist. Don't call out the lucky lurkers, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, that is gonna be it from me. I'll send you off to someone. I'll send you off to... Who have I got on my live list? I've got someone playing Metopia. Someone who I've never watched playing Metopia. Let's go see what that's about. There we go. Yeah, so you know the drill. Be good for them. Be your wonderful selves. I hope that you have a wonderful evening and sleep well. And I will be back tomorrow at midday playing my game that I've forgotten the name of again. It's supposed to be a puzzle game in like something to do with native Alaskan people stuff. I'm not really sure, but it looks interesting and fun. So we'll be hopefully going through that together. It's been a while since I played a proper puzzle game, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, adios everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Good night. Bye.